Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, and this is my 25th episode. Man, I've slept with a lot of awesome people over the last 6 months. I'm happy to announce that now we're on the iHeartRadio network, so you can find us through the iHeartRadio app or online in their podcast comedy section. My guest today is actor, comedian, and my good friend Elliot Lerner. Elliot helps run the show Secrets, Lies, and Alibis with me, which happens to be this upcoming Tuesday, September 6th. Doors at 8 p.m., show at 8:30. He'll be doing stand-up as well as being in some awesome sketches. Elliot is also an actor. You can catch Elliot at the Chicago Fringe Festival in the play Mine. That's this weekend. They've got several different dates and shows, but it includes Friday, September 2nd at 7 p.m., Sunday, September 4th at 8 p.m. There's additional show dates and times at chicagofringe.org/shows/mine. That's MINE. You can also follow Elliot on Twitter and Instagram at Lerner Elliot. That's LERNERELLIOT. Sleeping with Sarah is brought to you by Audible.com. You can go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah to get a free audiobook of your choice. This week, I'd like to recommend Stories I Tell My Friends by Rob Lowe. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and review on iTunes. And you can also go to sleepingwithsarah.com for more information and photos of pictures of me in bed with my guests. And please also follow me on Twitter at Sarah Albritton. Well, let's get started with the show.
Sleeping with Sarah.
Are you sleeping?
Huh? Hey.
Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, and this is my guest, Elliot Lerner.
Hi, I'm Elliot.
How'd you sleep last night, Elliot?
Not great.
Not great? Like, how?
Yep.
Why not great?
Well, I take melatonin every once in a while when I'm looking to get knocked out.
Like,
and
knocked out?
yeah, like go to sleep instantly.
Oh.
And it didn't work last night, so I slept for 3 hours and I was awake for like 5.
Oh, wow.
And then I went back to sleep. So
That's crazy. I'm going to put this pillow up there. Wait, so you normally take... Wait, melatonin is up for insomniacs?
it's like it's so your body naturally produces melatonin, and this is just sort of a... Not a doctor. So it essentially just overloads your brain with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same as like taking B vitamin tablets.
Mm-hmm.
So it just adds on to your body's natural B vitamins, but instead it's a sleeping aid, and you have to be careful about taking too many because otherwise your body gets used to outside an excess amount of melatonin introducing you, and that can totally mess up your sleeping pattern. So I take it every once in a while when I really want to fall asleep. And
So sometimes you just try to fall asleep and you can't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem is, like, with it, you're expected to get at least, like, 6 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a heavy sleeper and a bit of an insomniac, so I always get a little weird whenever I take it. Like, I lucid dream a lot. I have a lot of sleep paralysis. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you see shit that isn't there?
All the time, yeah. That's
You ever try to fight the drug and stay awake, and that's when you see a lot of weird shit, right?
yeah. It's not like like Ambien or anything, but it definitely you do hallucinate a little bit just because your body's adjusting to it, and I don't know. I'm also just kind of a very intense sleeper. Like when I'm out, I'm out.
Intense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you thrash in your sleep? Do you kick people? Like
Every once in a while, I used to.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like it'll happen.
Shove people out of bed.
Yeah. Like I've woken myself up I'll have like a lot of slipping dreams where I'm like walking and I slip and that wakes me up.
So not really fall, you just slip.
Yeah. Sort of like going down a slide, how your body has that like dip. Mm-hmm. I get that a lot. And then sleep paralysis. That's always fun. And then
yeah, that's always fun to feel like you're I feel like you're paralyzed. The other day I was talking to Paula about that. It's insane. Like, but it's actually interesting how many people actually experience it.
Yeah, I mean it's fairly common, I suppose. But I saw there's a documentary called like The Dream or something about people with sleep paralysis and how we all see these weird shadowy figures.
Yeah, there's a lot of commonalities with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of fascinating just because I was like, oh, I thought I was the only one. And then these people are like, nope, it's...
Yeah.
We all imagine the man with the hat and the... So it kind of makes sense when you hear people discuss being abducted by aliens.
Oh, yeah. So you think that aliens are really just like people having hallucinations and paralysis?
I think... Well, I don't know. I'm not going to discount
You're not
alien
going to...
abduction.
Hey, just in case you aliens are listening and you're out there... Elliot doesn't discount you.
I don't look. I'm not here to discount anybody.
Wait,
I don't.
Do you believe in aliens though?
Sure, why not? It's not harming anything.
Yeah.
Researchers just found like multitudes of galaxies far away and a lot of Goldilocks planets.
What's a Goldilocks planet?
Like essentially, it has an environment or an atmosphere that is just right to support life. And so yeah.
Wait, it's like just enough?
It's like not too hot, not too cold. It's just right.
Oh, gotcha, Goldilocks. I get that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there are times where you feel like you're being taken away and you're being handled and all that stuff. Like you're being physically jostled and you're awake, but you can't escape it. So yeah, I can see why people could possibly mistake alien abduction for sleep paralysis.
I thought that about ghosts too. You know, like people like hallucinating, thinking there's ghosts. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, again, I don't discount ghosts.
Can't discount ghosts.
I don't discount ghosts. Don't discount aliens.
Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
Exactly.
Ghosts, yeah, very passive. You never know.
I mean, I think that I don't discount anything. Actually, when I was in high school, I used to say that I believed in Christianity just as much as I believed in Greek mythology because they're both as realistic in terms of that.
Yeah.
Like I used to, I don't know, I was very open. I was like, I don't discount anything. But I think most things are possible. But it's kind of, I don't know.
Where do you draw the line as far as like, this is impossible?
I'm not sure. I haven't thought of... I think that our brains have a huge capacity to do things, and I've definitely had dreams and other things that have... I've had experiences that I can't really explain. Like, I've been other people in my dreams. I've had dreams that lasted for months, you know, in the dream. Like, I wasn't asleep for months, but...
Right.
And they're just different things that have happened that made me think, wow, the world is way bigger than I think. So there's a lot of things. One idea I've had, I said this on the podcast before, but I had a theory about deja vu. I think deja vus, like everything you dream could possibly actually happen in the future, but the deja vus are the ones that actually do.
That's fair, yeah.
So that was kind of my thought on that. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if I really draw the line on anything. Like, this might sound nuts, but I actually believe like if you concentrate on something enough, like I feel like you could make it move. If you connected that part of your brain, I don't know.
That's good. Yeah.
I think kids are psychic. There's some sort of connection. Kids and animals. I was a little psychic as a kid, so I'm not saying I'm like a ESP or anything like that, but I definitely had like several occasions that stuck out in my mind where I predicted something that was very unlikely, and it actually like physically happened, you know. And a lot of times it was me arguing with my parents, being like, no, I don't want to do this because this is gonna happen. And like my aunt had puppies, her dogs, these little wrinkly, whatever the wrinkly dogs are, you know, the wrinkly faced ones, something like that, the ugly ones. I don't know.
I'm not here to say what dogs are ugly.
Oh, no. You don't want to offend anybody with ugly dogs.
I don't care. Well, I don't care about offending someone with an ugly dog. It's just who am I to say? I
mean,
have an opinion
but you do agree that there are ugly dogs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are like, oh, no, every dog's adorable. No, there are prettier ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why they're competitions.
Are you more of a dog person or a cat person?
Neither. Neither? I don't know. I guess maybe if I had to choose, I'd go with a cat just because it's like leave me alone, and then
you don't want to be bugged by an animal.
I was a dog walker for a good while. For like
you and
5
so
months.
many other comics.
Yeah.
Did you just run into other comics like on your walks?
A couple times, yeah, a couple times, which was fun. I mean,
I feel like comics are all like dog walkers, work for Groupon or like that kind of thing. It's all
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you get to know people and then they help you out and they refer you to this and that. So that's kind of how someone was like, hey, if you want this job, and I was tired of being cooped up in a 9-to-5, and also I wasn't very good at my job and my time thing ran out. Okay, so yeah, you're doing a great job. This was a very open-ended question. So your aunt's ugly dog, I'm going to say Shar-Pei. Mm-hmm. Your aunt's ugly dog, what happened?
Oh, yeah. So she had a bunch of puppies, and my mom, we were there, like, they're fairly young puppies. Mom's like, oh, I want you to, I was like 4. She's like, oh, you should pick one up and play with it. I was like, no, I'm not going to pick it up. It's going to poop on me. We had this conversation, we had an argument for about 10 minutes, and then I was like, she's like, it's not going to poop on you, just pick it up. And I picked it up, and within, like, 10 seconds, it pooped on me. Like, random shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying that I wasn't predicting the future. It was just like a sense I had. I think kids have, I'm not saying kids, it was both, like, the few times it stood out, it was always, like, something negative that was going to happen. I was sure something bad was going to happen, and it ended up happening. So I think that I'm not saying I was psychic as a kid, but I believe that kids have this weird ability or something that we kind of disconnect from as adults.
Yeah. Oh.
And animals, too. I definitely think that animals have different senses about them.
Well, cats are staring at something when they're looking past you, so.
They just look right through you. Cats don't even, like, they just, like, look right through you. Like, you don't matter. I'm just staring right through you.
There's, it's that idea, like, they're used to ward off spirits in some, like, there's
Egyptians, right?
Yeah, and so, like, I don't know, man. There's just sometimes where, cat's sort of looking just above you or like just to your left, and you're like, it might see something. You never know. It's negative energy in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a very poor approach to like the spiritual secondary plane of energy, like all that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, like I'm not very eloquent at explaining.
So you've never had like an experience that made you believe that there's like other things out there?
I believe it. I don't know how to eloquently say it. It couldn't be worse for me because I get very caught up in like how I choose my words. But yeah, there's been plenty of times where I definitely agree. It's more of a kid thing. Mm-hmm. Like kids are just more intuitive to certain energies in the world. Because my mom said I was doing similar things when I was younger. Mm-hmm. She was, and that she said that, and she would agree with you. Where as adults we lose that sense of,
but
yes, that sense of sense, I guess.
Well, I think that's like almost a learned thing. Like society, we're kind of taught like certain things with like everything we're exposed to, and we just get further and further away from that. Well,
the idea of like school from 6 until 3, and then you're watching TV or as you grow older, you're expected to do more homework and stuff. So you just become it's all beaten out of you because you're focusing your mind so much on like what's in front of you, and now you're going to sit in front of a screen for 9 hours a day, and you're going to have lunch in a little cafeteria during your break and all that. That's
just like the word. Yeah, 9 to 5s. I just feel like that kind of like does kill the creativity a little bit. But like things like if you can like listen to music during it, or audiobooks or podcasts and that kind of thing, it kind of helps the day go through.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't know. I think the 9 to 5s are interesting because I feel like some of them, some 9 to 5s are like, hey, like really take your time at getting this job done, Mm-hmm. And some are like very, very stressful. So it very much varies. Quota-based
ones are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's
gotta meet those quotas. Gotta be this.
Yeah. I consider myself a good employee, but there are just some times where it's just like I get so drained doing it that I just wake up and I'm like, I don't wanna.
I don't wanna.
Yeah.
No. How weird would it be if like our jokes had to be like on a quota? They're like, hey, you gotta write. Well, I guess people. They kind of are. They kind of for monologue jokes and stuff. I guess they do kind of do quotas. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you're. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're a writer, yes.
Yeah.
And then other times, I mean, it's just like your quota is a time limit.
Yeah.
So you're expected to fill, if you're a headliner and you're touring, and you're expected to fill 45 to an hour. and you can only do 30 minutes, and then nobody's gonna.
But you should
you.
you should be booked as a headliner if you can only do 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just I think what it is. People say what you actually have half of the material you think you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you think you got 40, you really got a solid 20.
Yeah. But I've seen headliners go up before, and they're supposed to do like 45 to an hour, and they only do like 25 or 30.
Do they fill it with crowd work, or they just stop?
They cut it short. I think it happens in newer headliners. I mean, this is just based on observation. Like, I'm a new comic, so.
You're not new. You've been around for a few years.
But that's just like in terms of, not necessarily like doing comedy like every single day though. I would say there's like a difference between me, who's done comedy in Chicago for a few years, and someone else who's been doing comedy for the same amount of time in Chicago, but like been more committed.
But you also do other things. You're an actor.
Yeah. That's just it. It's like I know myself and like how I need to approach it. Mm-hmm. But there are some people who are like, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Is if you love something, you do it every day and you do it as much as possible. And then there have been plenty of times lately where I've just fallen out of love with it, and then it's a waste of my time and everyone else's if I'm just going up and
bullshitting
and half-assing it. Like I don't want to try out material or do a show or anything and just like half-ass it.
That's a good point. Or like, autopilot it almost.
Yeah, because this isn't something you can just autopilot. Like you can autopilot your day job.
Yeah, that's an easy thing to autopilot, but like you can't go in front of an audience and just like recite jokes. It doesn't really work that way.
No, and you can't do it and expect to be good.
Yeah,
or people to care. I mean,
but the thing is that's the thing. Like every time I get on stage, it's like I want to make people laugh. Like that's just the thing. Like I've got that an addiction. It's always fun.
Yeah.
But you do a lot of serious plays.
I try. I mean,
Is it just, do you go for the serious plays, like to balance out the comedy, or is it just you happen to be cast in serious plays?
Well, mostly during college and what have you, I was traditionally like, I would traditionally be cast in like serio comedies or comedies, but I prefer dramas. I mean, just as a sense of like palette. I enjoy acting in a drama because it's hard to do theatrical comedy because you're doing other people's words. That's why I like stand-up. Is like I'm writing it. I'm getting to know my voice. So if something messes up, then I can correct it myself. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing a play and you're not hitting those key jokes. And the audience is just sitting there. You can't necessarily like acknowledge it.
You can't be like, hey, I get you guys aren't feeling me. We're gonna move on to the next thing.
Yeah, you can't be like, let's do a different scene. You can't. So I think there's that. I mean, with drama, like it's for me, it's easier just to be like, yeah, I saw my parents die when I was. Versus having to go up and be like, Sharon, has anybody seen Sharon? And like she's right behind me, and and then I slip on a banana.
Oh, Alfred, where have you been?
Yeah,
you silly klutz.
Yeah, so it's so I don't know. I just enjoy acting like that a little bit better.
Okay,
I feel like I'm better at it, but I mean,
more serious. I don't know. I feel like I was the opposite. I did a lot of serious plays, I feel like, especially in college. When I first got out of college, I was in all these serious stuff, and it was like so emotionally draining. Like, it actually had an effect on an old relationship I had, because I was in these plays where you'd be in this character, and I always played these kind of fucked up characters, like heroin addicts, or someone that was like in a prison, and like someone who died, in jail, and in a hole, I guess is what you call it, like where they put people to punish, So like I was always playing like these darker roles, and so I feel like it was just so emotionally draining that I wanted to do something that was fun and lighthearted, and I had more control over.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with acting, it's like you're auditioning for things, and growing up learning about acting, I was told, hey, you audition for things, you figure out, what your type is, they'll typecast you, that's just the way it goes, and they'll pick what box to put you in. Versus, like, comedy, it's like, hey, if you want to, instead of, if you want to have something, you can create it yourself,
Yeah.
If you want to have a sketch show, Elliot and I run this fun
Secret
shows.
Slides and Alibis. First Tuesday of every month. Elbow Room, ELBO. Room. Doors open at 8. Show begins at 8:30. See you there.
So yeah, like that was a show. I've done sketch shows before, but I was like, I want to write and be in it. And so I was like, I had this idea for a show that also had stand-up and other stuff, and I was like, let's just do it. But the silly thing is that it wasn't until I started doing stand-up that I had the confidence to be like, yeah, I can run my own show.
Yeah.
I don't need to wait for someone to cast me in some shit. I'm going to make up some other really silly stuff, and we'll make up shit about your secrets.
Yeah, I used to be destroyed when I wouldn't get a role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would just eat me alive. And obviously, you're not supposed to let it, but that's what I liked about stand-up was, you fail so often.
You get used to it?
It doesn't bother you anymore. If you have a bad audition, you're like, well, I wish I could take that back, but, then at least I can go out and do bits later. That is what's better about stand-up in Chicago, at least, is you have that ability to go out over and over and over again. So.
Yeah, like if you bomb at a show, you can go back out later that night and do better.
Yeah.
I don't like to go to bed after, like, a bad set.
No.
I like to be like, all right, so I might have had... this set didn't go as well as I wanted. Then I go out to like 2 mics after that, and then I feel better. I'm like, okay, it was just
the worst. I think is when it's like you have a really good set, and then you go to an open mic, and you just eat shit, and you're just like,
But I've even seen people with their like late night sets, like people that have been on late night that did like late night sets for an audience that wasn't really listening, or like wasn't there, or just an open mic room, and you're just like, this guy did this late night set or, whatever recently, and you guys aren't, like, this is the same set that's, like, on TV and crushing. Why is it not,
because people are drunk and it's, 1:30
in the morning and nobody gives a shit.
People are trying to get laid. It's closing time soon. Like,
Is that why you started comedy?
Oh, God, no.
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 I feel like a lot of guys do that, though. I don't think girls start comedy to get laid. I think they mostly... started because
I think I don't know.
Got shit to say.
Yeah, I think everybody needs, like, for me it was I just enjoyed being on stage, and then I wanted to like challenge myself to create something because a lot of my heroes growing up were stand-up comedians.
Like
Chris Rock and Wanda Sykes are my two favorite comedians of all time. And then I saw like Robin Williams do a special on HBO, like Carlin, like I'm watching all these HBO specials, and then I found out Comedy Central is stand up. So I would watch a lot of stand up as a kid, and I was like, that was like something I never thought I could do. But I wrote a lot, and then it just
got a kid.
Yeah, I was like an avid. I would write like spec scripts for TV shows.
You did as a kid?
Yeah.
Did you ever send them anywhere?
No, because I didn't know you could. Like I knew you could, but I didn't know you could.
What spec script? What'd you write? Specs of the Simpsons? What'd you do? I'm curious. Do you remember any?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell me like your pitch for your spec?
So it was just a lot of like anime.
Okay.
Like Dragon Ball Z and.
You wrote a spec. How old were you when you wrote a spec script? Did you write one for Pokemon?
Like 6th grade. No, never. Not for Pokemon. I don't know why I said never. Like, no, I'm gonna be defensive now.
All the Pokemon Go like players are just like turning off this podcast now.
Good. You guys fucking find something else to do. I don't know.
Oh, is that falling?
Yeah, it's about to. Bye.
About to fall on our faces.
Yeah, so it's just like a Dragon Ball Z spec scripts, and then like a couple other cartoons. I would write out these episodes and everything, and it was fun for me, but I just never thought it would go anywhere. Like I didn't think I would ever be. It would be something I could actually pursue. And then I don't know. Just one day I got the chance to do stand up, and I took it, and then I.
Wait, when did you do stand up for the first time?
College. A very funny comedian named Eric O'Shea was doing a show at Wake Forest University, and the student union that the group that booked him said if any students want to do stand-up, they can, and they expected 3 or 4 students to submit, and I was the only one who submitted to do stand-up, and I had never done stand-up.
Did you open for him?
I opened for him, and I did 20 minutes. I did 20 minutes, and it was obviously, I even went up to him. I was like, hey, man, they gave me 20 minutes to do stand-up, and I've never done it. I'm going to do 20 minutes unless you don't want me to do 20 minutes. And he just... Eric O'Shea is a great guy. He was like, yeah, man, if you want to, totally. I don't care. He was that much of a professional. It was as long as you're not, saying awful things, it'll be fine.
That's crazy. See, this is why I wish I'd started in college.
It was in Winston-Salem, there's not that many places you can do stand-up. So it wasn't like I was going out every single night or anything like some of these cats at
these young
Chicago.
kids that are just turning 21 that are crushing. Yeah, you know.
I didn't have that. I did a lot of sketch in college, but I didn't have the ability to go out every single night.
Yeah, I was more in the improv sketch world as well for a little bit until I decided I liked stand-up better. Not better exactly, but it just fits me more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say I gear more towards sketch.
Yeah.
And then
I like your goofy characters. I definitely
Come see more goofy characters. Elbow Room. 8
Isn't that all?
Doors open. 8:30. Show starts. First Tuesday of every month. Secrets, lies, and alibis.
Do you ever put secrets in?
Yeah.
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 All the time?
Once or twice.
Have you ever done a sketch based on one of your secrets? No.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I'll. No.
No. You're gonna say something, but you.
I didn't chicken out. Just don't need to talk about it.
Just don't need to talk about it.
Don't need to talk about it.
But, I mean, for me, it's I like stand-up, sketch, and improv. But I like using improv to write, both in stand-up and in sketch. I feel like there's that big whole, hatred, improv versus stand-up. And I think that I don't understand why there's so much animosity there.
Because people just want to take sides. It goes back to, why people do stand-up, In part, I think it's this. It's the same reason why a lot of these kids will be like, "Oh, did you see sports ball on sports TV?" It's because they don't like sports, but they want to be able to take sides. That's why they care about comic books and fucking improv versus stand up. It's just I don't care. I enjoy watching sports because it's not it's fun. That's literally it's entertainment. There's a sociological aspect of it too, but but for them it's needing to take sides for stand up versus improv and comic books, and it's that's you, man. But I don't know. That was a dumb rant. It was dumb.
Don't worry about it.
I just don't care. It's just
yeah, I don't care about sports at all. Yeah. I don't the only sport I kind of care about, I care a little bit about March Madness, but I didn't care at all this year because U of L was disqualified for that scandal stuff. So that made me a little sad because usually I pay attention to that, but I mean, I still don't really care that much about sports. I would much rather be playing a sport than watching it.
Oh yeah, no.
I want to play something silly like kickball, something I know that I don't have to be good at.
We should join a league.
Yeah, we should have
do an intramural league and just get...
Yeah, let's do that. Or let's just buy a big red rubber ball and just take over a park one afternoon.
Sure, we could get a bunch of comedians and people to come out.
Yeah, let's do that.
One weekend.
Before it gets too cold.
Let's do a monthly thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
Get drunk and play kickball during the day.
That's adult life, man. Isn't it great when you can be an adult and you want to wake up in the morning and have ice cream for breakfast and then you want to play kickball?
It's kind of weird. It's almost too much, it's almost too much, free...
Too much freedom?
Freedom, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you don't... I don't have to make my bed every day. No? I don't have to clean...
Yeah.
It's those crazy things. It's I clean my room because I plan to have a guy over, or... I have a reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's... Well, getting back to... getting laid and stuff. I mean, it's a pretty good, you don't want to bring someone home and they're
screw that up.
Clearly this person's life is in shambles. Maybe,
have you ever had somebody do that? Have you ever had somebody come over to your house and be like, all right, I'm gonna leave now? Like, as that...
No, luckily...
I think by the time you get to the point where you're going over to someone's house, you've decided, hey, I want to have sex tonight. I'm gonna hook up with that person. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally. I don't know. Like, I'm a minimalist, so there's not a whole lot of stuff in my room. So it's never, like, an issue. I've never had an issue where it's, like, my room is too messy.
Have you ever been to a girl's house and was, like, turned off because of her messiness?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, let's hear this story.
I mean, okay, like, I still hooked up with her, but...
See, that's always what the guy, like, yeah, I mean, it was messy, it was gross, but, you know, I still hooked up with her.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I will have untidy things, but I won't have, like, a mess. You know what I mean? Like, I won't be neat all the time, but it's fixable. It's not like there's, you know, like...
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, there's controlled chaos. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, dodgy stuff in a pile, but I know where everything is.
See, me, it's like I just have a bunch of clothes, so my clothes can get a little crazy sometimes if I'm looking for something. I can make a big mess really quick, but then I can also just stuff it away and hide it pretty quick. So, I don't know, but I'm not gross with, like, food or anything. Like, yeah. I definitely like wash my dishes out, put that right away. I think that stuff is gross, but, like, clothes, stuff isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But, so wait, what was so gross about this girl's apartment?
There was food. There was, like, food, and then there was, like, cat litter and stuff.
Someone has a cat?
Yeah.
Did she tell you she had a cat?
No.
They never do they?
No. Why would you? I mean, unless it becomes, like, are you a cat person or a dog person? Well, yeah. I have a cat, but...
But, like, what if you're allergic? What if you, like, tried to... Wait, I have a question. Let's say you were deathly allergic to cats.
Are there people who are deathly allergic to cats, though? Is that
fine. Annoyingly, like you'd be scratching and itching, and your face would be red. All right, but this girl was crazy attractive.
Okay. Yeah.
And you had to go over to her house. You couldn't go to your house for whatever reason.
Bring
would you
some
still
Benadryl, you loser? Come on.
Let's say there's no Benadryl. Like,
man up.
Would you still go through
Man up. Hold your breath. Close your eyes and hold your breath.
Yes, that's your advice. Just go through with it. Yes.
I mean, unless you're that unless it turns you off that much, where like your eyes are like swollen shut, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm like obnoxiously healthy. I'm not allergic to anything. Like I don't have any like health conditions, so I can afford to be a jerk about it. So,
You're just typical white male, completely healthy, nothing wrong with you.
Is that a typical white male thing?
No, it's not. No, I was just saying. Oh. Probably not, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things skew, like, towards white male things. I'm just like, okay. Of course, you're the one that happens to have, like, nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, I'm one of the few white people without a gluten allergy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Peanut allergy. I don't have
peanut.
No nuts.
I'm allergic to penicillin.
Yeah.
Which I became allergic to a few years ago. Woke up one morning, and it's like the thing you people tell you about, like, hey, you could wake up one morning and be allergic to something that you weren't allergic to the day before, and that's what happened. I had to go to the hospital when I was in Vegas because I had been taking penicillin for to combat a sore throat or a strep throat or something, and I was like, I'm going to Vegas. I don't want that to happen. And like my hands like blew up really big. Jeez. And I had to go to the emergency room
in Vegas.
And I thought it'd be for something more fun than an allergic reaction. Wait, so wait, you were saying the cats, the girls?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
So wait, let me guess. You just hooked up with her and then you left. You didn't stay the night.
No, I stayed the night.
You still stay the night? Oh, that's sweet.
I'm getting better at it. I have like a lot of I still do, but I used to have a lot of attachment issues where I couldn't, like, I have trouble falling, like I'm getting better about it, but I used to have a lot of like trouble falling asleep next to somebody.
I know some people that have had that, and it bothered, like, for me, even when I have a casual hookup with somebody, like, I mean, I'm not like a one night stand kind of person. It's usually, if I have a hookup, it's usually like an ongoing, what are you saying? What was that?
No, I was yawning.
Yeah. Anyways, so I typically, like, I like the stay in the night. Like, I don't do the, hey, leave afterwards thing. Like, that bothers me. So, like, the times that I have dated someone who, like, that's why I'm always like, oh, like, one of the first questions I'll ask someone if I'm dating or interested, like, are you a light sleeper or are you a heavy sleeper? You know what I mean? Because I need to be with someone who's a heavy sleeper. But, like, different things like that. But I definitely know a couple people. One guy I dated had, like, anxiety, like, about getting too close with people and, like, had to, like, leave. You know, like...
Yeah, that used to be me. Not literally. I wasn't that guy, but it used to be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you would stay the night, but you would be anxious inside.
Oh, no, I would leave. I was bad about it. I wasn't happy about it, but I used to be, one of those people that would just be like, gotta go. Sorry.
Like, leave. Right afterwards?
Or, like when it would start to set in, like, oh my god, like, what I just did was something very intimate. Then I would be like, there's no way. Like, because I'd stay up all night just thinking about it and freaking out about...
You're like, oh,
what it
is
meant
she going to be... Did you think that she would just, like, fall in love with you the next day? Or?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe that's why, is I didn't know. It was the fact that it was something very intimate, and I wasn't I was an intimate person, but I didn't know how to convey it, and all of that anxiety swirling in my head just would freak me out, and I'd have to go home and, like, be by myself.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, there is, like, a certain closeness you get, you know. Yeah. But for me, like, I mean, like, I like cuddle, good or bad, you know, but I don't know. For me, a lot of it's just, like, I like the staying the night because I just, like, you know, morning sex is nice, you know. Like, so I'm just, like, you know.
I don't know. Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. It's like some morning.
Just like, hey, I have a question. Have you ever, like, a girl is like, oh, good morning, and she starts going down on you, and you're like, hey, girl, babe, stop. I gotta go I want to keep sleeping.
No, but there has been a time where there was one time when I was getting up for work, and I could either get breakfast and go to work, or have sex and go to... I'm a virgin, by the way. And have sex and then go to work, and I definitely chose breakfast because I was like, I need to eat. Like, I was just hungry, and I was, like, in a bad mood. Like, I just woke up in a bad mood. Mostly because I...
Wouldn't an orgasm put you in a better mood, though? Like, that's how I feel about it.
I don't know. I was weird, dude. I was weird.
You were weird?
Yeah.
I was weird.
Yeah.
I was a very weird kid.
Also, I was just, like, I'm super self-conscious about a lot of things. Like, intimacy and like, I was, like, this was when I was 22. So, you're an idiot at 22.
Yeah. And it's so funny is, like, at 22, you're like, yeah, I'm so much smarter than I was at 19. And you're really, like, you still know nothing.
I mean, I was definitely smarter, but I was, very, very less knowledgeable about the world. It was just... I knew myself, and I was like, I just need to, like, this. It was one of those mornings where, like, just, you need food in you, and you need to just stew for a bit before you get angry at the rest of the day. But yeah, I don't know. And, I'm a virgin. It doesn't matter.
You say that so much. It's so silly.
I don't know. Sex weirds me out.
Why?
In a good way. It just. Or at least talking about it, because I don't like people knowing my personal stuff.
Oh, sorry.
So, no, that's why I speak at a very, like, when I speak about sex, I speak at, like, a...
vague.
Yeah.
Distance.
Yeah, I don't like people knowing...
like, being able to figure out,
I don't like to kiss and tell. Like, I don't like to... Like, if I'm seeing someone, then I don't like to...
Advertise it?
Yeah, I don't...
Have you ever had anyone that was, like, bothered by that? Be like, Elliot, why don't you ever tag me in your photos?
Yeah. I was seeing a girl one time, and I also have, like, touch issues. Like, I think I just have sort of a sensitivity to certain stimuli.
What, you don't like people touching you or hugging you, or?
Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, I have an aversion to touch. But, like... I
guess I feel like, you know, we hug a lot. I feel like it doesn't...
Yeah, but it's not, like...
You're saying somebody
you're
you like.
You're a friend, but it's like...
So if this is somebody you like, and, like, if she just, like slightly touches you, does that bother you? Or is it...
Well, it's like... It's weird because, like, in public, that's when it gets, like, weird.
So it's okay in private, but when you're in public, you're like, oh, that's...
I'm very self-conscious.
So you're like, that's conveying that you're a thing, and you're conscious about that.
I don't know, man. That's some personal stuff I need to work out. But yeah, like
I'm always curious because everyone's got their own weird shit. Like I have my own weird relationship stuff too.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like I have a weird pattern. I have like because I was in a long thing for a while that didn't work out. So since then, in the couple years since I was in that long thing, like I haven't had a relationship that lasted longer than I wouldn't even call them relationships because they're only like 3 or 4 month things, and I don't think most of the time we weren't exclusive or something. So like for me, it's like the second that it gets serious, where like a guy's like, hey, like I could tell he's about to use the L word or he's getting to that point, like I kind of just like leave and run, you know?
Yeah.
And like I have my own shit and my own and I know that that's a problem I have, and I don't know how I'm gonna overcome it, or maybe it's just I haven't found someone I like enough to get past that point, or maybe I just that's not that important to me right now, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. But, I don't know, dude. It's weird. You gotta know yourself, I guess, to know, I don't know others, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I'm just getting better at like being able to like hold hands with people in public.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of those like I don't know. Like I've definitely been drunk and like kissed someone in public, but the entire time like there was like emergency sirens going off in the back of my head, just been like.
See, I'm not typically a person that does PDA, but if I'm seeing someone that like they like to do it, I don't stop them, you know, because I don't want that. Because the reason is I don't want them to feel bad, or I don't want them to feel like I don't like them. And so it's a weird thing that I feel. It's like, like I don't want to be showing off about this. I'm not gonna initiate it, but if this guy wants to pull me in and give me a kiss in front of, like in the middle of the street on Clark Street, I'm gonna let him. You know, because I like him. Because I used to have the opposite problem with my ex. I used to, like, want to be affectionate in public, and he did not. He was very shy about it. And so I felt very offended. So because I knew how it feels to be on the other side of that, now I don't feel as comfortable. But if somebody wants to kiss me, I don't stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I really don't... Wait, let me preface that. I'll stop them if I don't want to kiss them.
Oh, yeah,
but
totally. Yeah.
if it's somebody I'm seeing and assuming. But...
Yeah.
But I feel like guys just have gotten more bolder. Like, I feel like as they get older, it's like they're very direct, you know, the older.
Yeah, I mean,
they're like,
the idea is that you know what you would like. I mean,
they're like, hey, I want to kiss you right now. Or like, they just do. And it's like, okay.
I think that's true for males and females, though. Like, the older you get, the less bullshit you want to deal with. It's just like, well, I know what I want, and so let's lay it out on the table, and if it works, it does. If it works, it works. If not, you know.
Yeah, like, I like, I know, like, you could just be like, hey, I want to make out with you right now. Because then, you know, like, I don't know.
Because then you're cutting the bullshit.
Yeah.
And, like, you're not doing the dance that
I think
we as young 28-year-olds do. It's like, oh, do you like music?
Who doesn't like music? it's like, it's the same thing. Oh, do you like comedy? Like, who doesn't like to laugh?
I know people who don't like comedies.
What would you do if, like, have you ever been out, like, what would you do if you were at someone and they're like, I hate comedy?
I'd say, well, this probably isn't going to work.
Like, I hate comedy.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, well, then don't come to my shows.
Yeah.
I'll talk about you on stage, but don't come to my shows.
Have you had people act weird if you do talk about them on stage, or have you ever told a joke about somebody that they saw?
Kind of, but it's never been that bad. Like, I've never, cause I don't know, I've never really had a terrible interaction with someone in that capacity. So, like, I've never really had anything bad to say about them. And if I do, then, like, I'm probably not going to talk about it on stage.
I don't want to talk bad, but I've had some awkward situations that I share about on stage.
I think that's okay.
And I think it's just an awkward situation that I use vague enough ways that people don't know who it is.
Right.
But if the person heard, they would know. Mm-hmm. You know? So there's just a lot of weird things about that, I think.
I mean, the thing about comedy is... I don't know. I just know who I am, and I don't really like to talk. Like I said, talk too much about relationships I've been in or anything. Like, if I do talk about it, like I'm the bad, like not the bad guy, but the one that looks bad. Like, the joke's about me. The joke's about me. It's, well,
Yeah.
I don't know, because, I don't know.
What? Yeah.
I just still care about people. Like, you don't want to talk bad about them to make them the butt of the, for the sake of making them the butt of the joke.
Yeah. No, I don't do that, but I definitely try to hit on some things that are, I think, relatable, but I don't think I make them the butt of the joke. I don't think I'm making fun of them. Or if I am, it's because I've heightened the situation. Yeah. It's not exactly how it happened. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, sorry. I realized you're like, I don't like talking about sex or relationships when we spend like half this time doing it.
Hey man, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's like I said, like I don't talk about it normally because I'm not very good at talking about it, which is probably reflective about why a lot of my relationships don't go great. It's because I'm bad at communicating.
That was a problem I have with my ex. He just didn't like talking about things because his parents never talked at all. And my parents are very vocal. They're still together. They're very open and talkative, and it's very clear, like, if something's wrong, they'll say something, you know? But I remember going to his house for the first time for dinner, and they were, like, silent at the dinner table. And when people are quiet at my dinner table, like at my house, something is wrong. Yeah. And it was very strange because they were just a very different dynamic in terms of that. And I was like, I got that he grew up that way. They grew up like, there's lots of things that they just didn't talk about, you know, and they didn't mention this, or they had an estranged family member. They just didn't talk about it. They didn't discuss it. They didn't ask questions. It felt like it was like something from like, I don't know, not as weird as like The Giver, but like that kind of like level of like, I felt like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it, in part, without getting too much into the psychology of it, because I don't want to bore your viewers. But I think in part, I mean, you're not your parents' mistakes, but you know there is that fear of like turning into the worst parts of your parents, who are like the first real relationship most people see, or at least, you know, if they grew up in a single parent household, and their parents' reaction to the rest of the world, and you know, if there's boyfriends, girlfriends, blah 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 blah. But I definitely it's always in the back of my mind. It's like, am I going to make the same mistakes that my parents made with each other? Are your parents still together? Yeah, they're still together. But it's, you know, you, like, for me, a lot of the times, like, it's all I can think about. It's like, am I doing, what am I doing wrong? Is like always the first thing that comes to mind when I'm, you know, meeting someone new or with someone. It's like, what am I doing wrong? And usually that's the first thing that goes wrong, is focusing on that. See, my problem is, because my parents, like, are, like, really in love. Like, they are legit in love. Like, they still flirt and get giddy around each other, and they've been married over 30 years, and it's like, my thing, because I've had that as an example, is, will I ever find that? And if I do, like, find that, is this the best person for me? Am I going to have a life like that? Yeah. Or if I ever will, you know? It's a lot of pressure and it's on yourself and others. It is. If you're not careful. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's that pressure, because I definitely have felt real love. I've experienced a true love, that, like, an actual, like, I loved him, he loved me. It was a deep thing. It wasn't like a childish thing, you know? So I'm happy I've experienced that, but it's like, oh, will I be able to fall in love again? Like, will I ever have a relationship that's as good as my parents? You know? Will I ever have that? And also because my mom, you know, she definitely did a lot of work with us, like, growing up, but a lot of her life was supporting my dad at his career. And a lot of times it's like, oh, can a relationship even work well if both people are career focused? You know, can you raise a family right? You know, and all these crazy thoughts I have, because, you know, it's like, I don't know, I think about that a lot too. Like even my brother, who he's married, and they have a great relationship too. They're awesome. But, like, I know he wants to have a lot of kids, and she's very career focused. He's like, you know what? I'll be a stay-at-home dad, you know? I'll do that. And it's like, my thought is like, I don't want to be a stay-at-home person, I don't think. And because I really love comedy and the things I want to do with it, and my fear is like, what if I do find that person, but we're both so career focused, or we're both working so much that we don't have time to work on the, like, I get these weird fears, and it's like, oh, can I live up to that? Or then maybe that's why I run away at something 3 or 4 months in, because I'm like, oh, it's not that level. I have too high expectations, you know? I don't know.
Good place to start.
Yeah. I feel like I'm almost like talking to a therapist right now. What did you study? Did you study like
Sociology.
I thought it was something like that.
Well,
So sociology, not Greek mythology? No, that was your...
My dad teaches the Hellenistic period.
Oh.
So it's interesting, but not something I wanted to go into in terms of history.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not exactly, I think, always a realistic... It's like a... Not exactly a realistic career path.
I mean, it is.
Well, it is. I guess philosophy is more not as realistic. Nobody's really philosophers. That's the problem. Where do the philosophers go?
Well, they're all like essayists and I mean, that's kind of a profession that died out. I mean, it's like, a lot of them are lawyers, and then professors. I mean, it's kind of like sociology, how it's sort of become this thing where you either go to grad school and become a professor, or you do data, like you do data research for the government.
But the thing is, you don't actually... I mean, there are actually sociologists and psychologists, but there's not a job... I've never heard of anybody that's a philosopher. Like, except for, like, a self-proclaimed or somebody that's, like, well-known, like, that I would consider kind of a philosopher, like someone like Reggie Watts is kind of like a philosopher, right?
Yeah, for a comedian, yeah.
For, like, a performer, because he's, like, because he does a lot of creative arts and he has different perspectives. Like, I kind of see him as, like, that a little bit, but, I mean, I feel like most philosophers that I could think of that are still alive are people that...
like Howard Zinn, Gore Vidal, maybe.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of it is...
But their title is not philosopher.
Yeah, it's unless they wanted to. I don't know. I don't really know how to categorize it. I don't want to speak out of turn.
You're so worried about that. Don't be worried about that. We could just be like, hey, you know what? We challenge anybody to just start calling themselves a philosopher,
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, it's definitely different than, like, in the 1700s where they were very clear philosophers. Like, they would write on economics and the because I feel like a lot of it was unknown. The less we knew about the world, the more we could be philosophize about it. And they had salons and stuff because they didn't have internet, they didn't have all this grand globalization.
I wish we had salons again. Would be nice. That'd be cool.
Gonna start having them in your home.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Yeah, just a meeting of the minds. Except I think.
But then it'd be like, oh, like what would I do? Collect people's cell phones and be like, all right, no cell phone usage. It would just feel like so hoity-toity almost.
I mean, that's part of it. But I also think it turned into a party pretty quick.
Yeah, I think
people just end up drinking.
Yeah, I feel like, people would just end up drinking and just, that would absolutely. But that'd be fun.
Parties are fun sometimes.
You could call it a salon, and then it becomes a musical sing-along.
Yeah, everybody has to dress up, and...
oh, yeah? Like, what would your ideal salon be? And did salons have topics, or was it just like you?
I don't know. I think they would come in with, like, things to discuss. Mm-hmm. This is back in, like, 1700 France? I don't know. I don't fact check.
That's okay.
I'm a virgin who doesn't do research. I think it'd be like, here's a list of topics we're gonna dissect, and they'd be like, let's talk about Protestantism and free trade versus different types of is Adam Smith correct? I don't know. I like dress up parties though. I like the idea of getting into a suit or just wearing something nice and kind of just sitting around and hanging out with friends. That
would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have a salon. We already have a couple activities we could do. We could do kickball game.
Yeah,
we could do a salon. Well, we're going to show our wide range of...
go get drunk during the day and play kickball and then go home, take a shower and...
Yeah, and get ready, get all fancy dressed up, and then have a salon and talk philosophy.
Yeah, why not?
That sounds good. I think that sounds like a good plan.
Drunken philosophers are some of the best. Some of the most annoying people, but some of the best. You ever been in a bar where like someone just starts talking politics or something? It's like there's a time it's like I don't
Time
know.
and place.
There's a time and a place where I can handle it, and I'm happy to like talk about the necessity of unions in Wisconsin. And then there's times where I'm just like I remember right after the Laquan McDonald shooting happened, I was at this bar and this guy who was just very loud and very obnoxious decided, like, he and his buddies decided to talk about it, and I remember I made a face, and this couple across the bar from me started laughing because I guess they saw the face I made when the guy started talking about, like, you know, we don't know what happened, and I just remember being like, oh my god, no. And everybody else around me like knew what was happening, and they're all just like, oh. And yeah, it's like there's, I don't know, maybe it depends on if you're the one talking about it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's interesting. The salon idea, that should be fun. That could be fun, a dress-up party. I'd like to see you in a fancy suit. That'd be nice.
I don't mind wearing a suit now and then.
Yeah. Well, as we're winding down, I always usually ask people the same question at the end, because I know we didn't talk about dreams this time, but I usually ask people, like, what are your dreams for your future?
Like, goals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like hopes, dreams, whatever. It can be any range or any way you want to interpret that.
Well, part one, I'll do a quick 3-parter. Part one is to get better at answering questions. I feel very uncomfortable answering normally. The second is to put on a great Secrets, Lies, and Alibis elbow room. Doors open at 8, show at 8:30. First Tuesday of every month. That's ELBO room on Lincoln and Barry or George or one of those. Go to Wellington and just head south on Lincoln. Wellington Avenue and Southport and Lincoln. And the third is to put on a good show at the Chicago Fringe Festival. The play is called Mine, M-I-N-E, by Vincent Truman. The Chicago Fringe, it's running September.
Do you want to say what that play's about a little bit?
Yeah, it's about a woman who's a sexual assault survivor battling the manifestation of her darkest thoughts. And basically it's a struggle for control between her and her thoughts. So do you get, like, when something bad happens, do you get lost and do you lose yourself to that voice in the back of your mind that is like pulling you down and suffocating you with all the negative thoughts and negative energy, or do you surpass, like, do you work on getting conquering those thoughts and trying to lead a life that's like never again, or I don't know. It's tackling kind of a heavy issue.
Well, is there anything beyond and I'll have a link to the dates and all that on the website.
Yeah.
Is there anything beyond, because all those things are pretty immediate, close by things. Is there anything further in the future than a couple months?
I don't know. Become famous, rich and famous, and to the point where I don't have to worry about money. I guess, I don't know. Win the lottery, that'd be a cool one.
Win the lottery.
Yeah, to be good at comedy, be better at comedy. That's a big one.
I think everyone's just trying to get better at it.
Yeah, just be as good as I possibly can be, and still be good.
Yeah.
You know, like, be worthwhile.
You are that's a weird way to put that. You are worthwhile.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know, just doing it, just creating, constantly creating. I mean, that's the fear is losing any sort of creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just constantly creating something. I don't know.
Like that. And to lose your virginity, right?
I'm gonna lose my virginity. And yeah, that's it. Those are the big ones. Famous, money, fame, money, and losing my virginity. Yeah, that'd be some badass ones.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sleeping with me today, Elliot.
Thanks. I'm gonna go because I feel uncomfortable.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I know. We're too close, right?
Yeah, we're a little too
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Elliot Lerner. You can catch Elliot this week at the Chicago Fringe Festival. Go to chicagofringe.org/shows/mine and follow him on Twitter at Lerner Elliot. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes and subscribe. This podcast is brought to you by audible.com. Please go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. I'm releasing a new podcast each week. Be sure to tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music. You can also view the video on YouTube or follow me on Twitter at Sarah Albritton. Until next time, good night.